Welcome, my friends, to another 8 ends. It is the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. We have a contest between the top two teams of the men's pool B. We have the undefeated Team LeClair from Coyotes taking on the 3-1 Team McBride of OC Curling. Looks like we're going to have a great game on tap, and we'll likely see these games in the playoffs. So do strap in. Looks like we're looking forward to an exciting contest. We'll explain the playoffs in just a moment, as it looks like uh, Team McBride had the hammer as the lead for LeClaire gets into the hack. Gonna get my paperwork in order. There's more paperwork than I was expecting for this event, because I keep trying to keep score in terms of the shot selection. So, welcome to the game. Glad to have you with us. This should be a fun ride. And if you have any comments or questions, feel free to ask in the YouTube chats, and I'll be happy to respond as I'm able. As we see the first rock for Team LeClaire, and we are underway here in our early evening draw. As we see the first stone from LeClaire is going to go to the back of the rings, and McBride put some polish on it for it to end up in the back 12-foot area. And for Team McBride, it appears this is the pardon, I changed camera views. Um, this is the lead for Team McBride playing out of OC Curling, which they currently play at a facility in Long Beach, which, if you are a fan of geography, you would know is not in Orange County, which leads to one of the more popular questions. How are you guys called OC Curling? And they started in OC, and I think they hope to be back in OC in the future. That is a corner guard there that's put up by the lead for McBride. As we see Leclerc's lead with his second stone, that's Tom Danielson. And I think looking to put up a center guard with his second stone. Doesn't necessarily need to be on the center line, although it does end up on the center line. And I'm going to check the overhead view real quick. As you can see, that is a center guard on the center line, and the no tick rule is in effect, which means that an opponent cannot dislodge that stone off the center line until after the fifth rock of the end. So for McBride, Neil Hunter Smith draws around the corner guard. And partially buried. It is exposed, and so uh, Jeff Baird for Team LeClaire is going to take it on. And it looks pretty good. Going to pop it out, and the shooter's going to roll towards the center, be exposed, but as a takeout, that shot was made. So looking for a normal takeout for McBride's second. Looking to see some takeout action of their own. as the shot is made, and the shooter's going to end up partially buried. So trading the hits here early in the first end. And it looks like LeClair is dialing up a hit and roll on the outside of that blue that was just put up as Jeff gets sets. Hoping to hit the outside of the stone that was just put up. It looks pretty good. It's around, oh, it's on the guard, pardon me. So takeout attempt was not made. Opens up the front. So access to the McBride stone is there. So not a bad outcome. I think, maybe a peel of the guards was a good plan B. As it looks like McBride is asking the second to put up a center guard. Or actually, no, I take that back. It looks like they're going to try and hit the yellow on the outside and then roll back towards the center. Yeah, looking pretty good. And that takeout was made. So now LeClair is looking to hit, looking for some normal takeout weight to hit, and I think roll towards the blue that was just put into the rings as Fred Maxey gets set for his shots. So looking for hit and a little roll. The hit and roll's made. It taps the blue back to the edge of the 12 foot. So Fred delivers the goods with his hit and roll. Uh, Not quite a double takeout, but a really good shot there by Fred Maxey. So the broom is down for the third of Team McBride to pop out the shot yellow and maybe get a double in the back. As the rock is away. Looking pretty good. Going to nose it, and let's see where the other stone goes. It does clip the yellow in the back, and then the yellow that got ran back is sitting in the back 12 foot. Looks good for second shot. So I'm going to bet LeClair is going to hit and roll. Maybe get a double if they're lucky, but that was a great shot from the third of McBride. And McBride's shot is away. He gives it a little pop. Let's see what happens here with the outturn takeouts. It's going to get one. Let's see what happens to the. Oh, it jams in the back. So a miss there from Fred Maxey. Kind of complicates the end for LeClair, but definitely kind of gives an advantage to McBride as he's looking at the angles. And he's looking to draw to the other side, it appears, as the third for McBride goes for the outturn draw. Looking to be, I think, close to the center. And that looks pretty good. It's going to draw even, and that stone was from Cameron Ross. So looks like McBride is sitting 2, and then they're pretty spread out. And then if we look at the head-on view, there's a decent amount of separation while they're spread out. And then the shot stone seems to be partially covered, but I'm going to guess that LeClair is going to try to hit and roll. LeClair does like to hit from time to time. And the shot's away. Uh, Sorry for the weird camera switch there. Looking for a hit and some roll. It looks pretty good. Gonna get hits. Oh, just a wick though, and then the shooter is gonna go through the house out of play. So um, that was shot stone, and it gets pushed to the 12-foot ring, and looks like it still is still around for second shot. So it improves the situation slightly. Um, so interesting setup here for Team McBride. The broom is down. It looks like the shot, which I would agree with, is to hit the yellow out and be sitting 4, and really, really force LeClair to find a place to either to hide a blue or to at least hit 1 or 2 of the McBride stones out to minimize the damage here in this first end, as we see Justin McBride deliver his first stone. Looking for a bit of a hit. No roll. A nose hit is totally fine. It does a slight roll towards the center, and the shooter goes by the blue in the back, and it is LeClair. Sorry, it is McBride sitting 4. So it looks like with where the broom is positioned, I think they're going to try and draw down on top of the blue in the back. Actually, it's a hit. And it looks like they're going to try to double 2 of the blues out. Let's see if it's there. One of the blues is going to go, and that is all. And so McBride has a draw for 4 or a hit for 4, just depending on how they would like to do it. And just a solid start for McBride as they are sitting in a prime position. And it looks like they are opting to draw, if that's my guess. As Justin McBride gets set, the broom is set up for a draw. The rock is set up for a counterclockwise outturn draw for 4. As the rock's away, sweepers are just they were letting it go, and now they're sweeping, I think, to make sure it gets past the guard, and this could be a bit of a disaster. Uh, the shooter does roll into the rings, 4 shots, so it looks to be 1, 2, and that is all. So a miss there, unfortunately, for Team McBride, where they had a chance for 4 and end up only taking 2. Still a positive result uh, for the McBride rink, so they'll take that in a 2-0 lead into the first end break. Coverage of the 2020 5 MoPac Playdowns Championships brought to you by curling.gg is brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Proprietor Ken Pomeroy updates the site throughout the competitive curling season with the results of the events and creates a custom ranking of the top men's and women's teams from around the world. Doubletakeout.com. And by curling.gg. Test your stip skills against your friends online at curling.gg, free online curling platform with real physics simulation. And by Endgame Curling, manufacturers of the Endgame Icon and Endgame Origin brooms. Unlock your potential with a curling broom that's right for you. Endgamecurling.com. So an end that could have been utterly disastrous for LeClair ends up to just be 2 points for McBride. McBride was sitting a handful, had a chance for 4, and just an unfortunate hit on the yellow stone at the top of the rings. So LeClair is facing kind of an unpleasant situation and was able to make the best of it, as we see Hunter Smith go for the outturn draw into the rings for his first shots. Going to settle in on the top button, actually top of the forefoot, as we look to see the overhead shot. And so it looks like LeClair wants to kind of spill the blue to the outside as Tom Danielson gets set, looking for, I would think, backline way. He wants to stick around. So Barrett and Maxey are sweeping the stone. Now Barrett is trying to hold the line. And it looks like we're going to get a hit on the other side of what LeClair was looking for. And looks like McBride is going to ask just Hunter for a takeout. Hunter is a left-handed deliverer, by the way. Always good to note. And coverage of this end is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Hits made, but it looks like it will glance on the blue in the back, so it does move things around the house in a pretty dramatic fashion, as there's just a single McBride stone in the rings. So now LeClair has an option to, I think, try to. Looks like he might be drawing as Danielson gets set for his net stone. And Danielson's going to draw to maybe put up a corner guard. Looks like it's going to go a little deep and slip into the rings. And so McBride doesn't waste a moment to put the broom down for a takeout from Peter Johns. So the hit is made by Johns. And the shooter's going to roll to the edge of the 12-foot. So it looks like LeClair is looking to put up a guard again. Mamma mia. Here we guard again. Jeff Barrett is getting set for his first rock of this end. We have 5 games on the ice this draw at the Oakland Curling Center. And We'll let you know what games are in action, and also kind of look at the standings to see which teams might advance to the playoffs. As Jeff looks to have put up the guard. That was the fifth rock, the sixth rock at the end. So McBride can do some clearing if he wants to. And let me update the score, folks. Apologies about that. It's 2-0 McBride. So I think McBride was looking at a couple options. Has opted to ask Johns to draw to the opposite side of where he's sliding. Looks pretty good, close to where McBride wants it. It looks like it might slip a little deep, but it's almost parallel with the other McBride blue. So that looks like a well executed shot from Peter Johns as Jeff Bear gets sets. Looking to hit, and I think maybe roll on top of the other blue. So it looks like it's going to hit. Not too much of a roll, but they tried to coach it over a little bit. So McBride has the broom down for a takeout. As the third for McBride, Cameron Ross gets set for his first stone. Looks like it's curling a bunch. They're working to hold the line, and it will get there to roll slightly outside. So a good hit executed by Ross. So it looks like LeClair is going to hit the shot stone on the inside and roll towards the center for Fred Maxey's first stone of this second end. We'll go around the rings after this end just to let you guys know what my thinking is. Going for a hit and roll. Looks like we're going to see a hit. How much of a roll we're going to see? A lot of roll as the shooter will go out of play. But the takeout was made. Looks like McBride is sitting two now in the top of the house. One in the full 12-foot ring, and then the other blue just hanging on by the hair of his chinny chin chin um, on the very edge of the ring in the front of the house. So it looks like McBride is asking for a draw from Ross for a second. And sweepers are sweeping the rock. It's kind of looks heavy, but it's been fooling me this entire day. So it looks like it might sit down. It's past the guard, and it's going to sit down. LeClaire is trying to fight to make sure it goes through, and it does. They're going to kick the rock out of play. So it looked really good, but just a little hot, and it goes through the rings out of play. So now LeClaire can do some cleanup, maybe try to set up a situation to score 2 points of their own here, as Maxi is hopefully going to deliver maximum results. That's my first and maybe only Maxi pun today. Looking for a hit, and I think a slight roll. There's the hit and the slight roll. It is shot now. Not too buried though, although it does. The guard does prevent one path of attack. Although McBride can hit it on the inside and get it gone. There's a slight risk of it jamming, but there would have to be almost close to a total miss for it to jam. But that was a good shot there from Fred Maxey. As Justin McBride cleans his rock. One last setup in the hat. Usually, when you start behind the hat in your delivery to make sure that your body and the curling rock are aligned towards the broom, and then when you push out, you want to make sure that the stone and all of its energy is going towards the target. As sweepers jump on the stone pretty quickly. Looks pretty good. Looks like it's going to hit it right on the schnoz. And it does. So it looks like now McBride is sitting two again. And for LeClair, it looks like they might try to hit. I thought they were going to hit and roll, but they're actually opting to draw, hoping to curl around that top blue. And let's take a look closer. That is definitely nibbling the edge of the ring. So McBride is sitting two. So the broom is down for a draw. LeClaire asked for less ice as Maxi made the adjustment. And Bob LeClaire gets set for an intern clockwise rotation. Looking to draw around the cover, I believe. And it's moving down the ice pretty nicely. Now Baird jumps on to help kind of push it further to through the rings and hopefully curl a little bit more. And it ends up as shot, but it is pretty open. So it looks like McBride is going to bop that stone out and be sitting three. Even if the shooter rolls away, LeClaire would only have a shot for a single point as Justin gets set. And his stone is away, looking to clear the LeClaire yellow. Clear the LeClaire yellow. That's a fun phrase. And it looks like mission accomplished as the stone will go away, the yellow rock, and the blue stone will hang around for shot stone, leaving three McBride counters in the rings. So the broom is down for LeClaire to do some bopping of his own, looking for a hit and stick for a single point. Wants to make sure it hits it right on the nose, no roll or very minimal roll, as his last rock is away. The hammer here in the second end. Working to hold the line, it appears. It looks pretty good, but they are now, I think, maybe coaching it over just a little bit for a solid nose hit for that single point. So um, good for Leclerc to get the single point, but an excellent job by Team McBride to force Leclerc to that single point with the hammer. We'll return with our coverage of our feature sheet game in just a moment as we continue with the coverage of the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. While they're taking a quick pause in the action, let's go around the rings and see how the other games are going. Scores are being posted to bondspieler.com. They are our host of live scores. In this draw, we have all 5 sheets in play for the last time for this event. We have only, I think, 3 games on the ice for our nightcap, and then 3 games in our semifinals and 2 games in the championship. So on sheet A, we have Team Aubrey of Coyotes up 1-0 over Team Camarena of San Francisco. Sheet B is our feature game where we have McBride up 2-1 over Team LeClair. Sheet C, a women's game between Team Walsh of SFBACC up 5-0 from Team Ewers of OC Curling. Sheet D, Team Barajas of SFBACC is up 1-0 over Team Raju of San Francisco. And then on sheet E, we have, one second, want to show you the guard that is going to be put up by Tom for Team LeClair. Looks to be close to the center line as he takes a look at it. Um, Shifting back around the rings as I recap the last game on sheet E, it's a women's game between Team Thangdadurai of SFBACC and Team McDonald of Coyotes. They're all knotted at 1. And Team McDonald is being skipped by Megan Groh this weekend as Andy is in Torino, Italy, representing Team USA at the World University Games. And as I said before, we definitely hope that her and her team are doing very well representing the red, white, and blue. Uh, so after LeClair put up a centerish guard, McBride is drawing. I wonder if they wanted to put up a corner guard and just went a little too deep with the outturn draw. And it's that stone is in the rings, and so LeClair has the broom down for Tom to bop it out. Tom Danielson's been curling for 12 years. Was the MoPac Club champion in 2019, 2020, and 2020, and also was the national silver medalist in 2020. And that hit was made. The shooter rolls away, and so it looks like McBride is going to try to draw the other side as coverage of this end is being brought to you by curling.gg. Giant logo there. Curling.gg. As we see the net stone coming from I'm missing a sheet for Team McBride's bio. I apologize. Uh, that is Hunter Smith, the lead. And I'll have more great information about Neil Hunter Smith in just a moment. Looks like he drew into the rings, and so Jeff Baird is going to actually take it out. Tom working to push it over, or actually hold the line so it gets a piece, and it will get a piece of that blue enough to push it through the rings out of play. And then the shooter is also going to go bye. I had to do a boy band reference from the 90s or early 2000s. Now that's what I call music. So McBride is changing the call. I think looking to peel the guard here in this third end of play. And it looks like the hit's going to be made, and the shooter's going to. I only know Bye in terms of boy band songs. I guess I could find some other boy band references, but that would require work. But excellent shot there from Peter Johns. So open sheet for Jeff Baird's second stone. Jeff has been curling for 12 years. Kind of a similar bio as Tom, where he was champion of the MoPac Playdowns in 2019 and 2020, and was a silver medalist at nationals in 2020. As he will draw into the rings, and Brenda Duncan notes that yesterday was the 25th anniversary of the release of the song "Bye Bye Bye," which is a fun fact. I I guess that came out then in 2000. That's right on the dot. And let's see if John's second rock here is also on the dot as made some contact on the shot stone, and the shooter's going to roll away. And it's so bad. I do karaoke, so the words are on the screen. So if I'm asked to remember lyrics, I'm really bad at it. So I only know the chorus because the chorus is just bye bye bye. So and it looks like Fred Maxey is going to draw with his first. I guess the song "Bye Bye Bye" is seeing a resurgence in popularity as it went a little viral as the song was used in the recent Wolverine movie, if I remember correctly. I did not see it, but I did see some of the viral videos, and some of them were fun to see. And it looks like Maxey put up a guard, so looks like McBride would like to hit and roll towards the wing for the first stone from Cameron Ross. And Ross has been curling for 18 years. Some previous experience includes the 2023 Club Playdowns and the 2024 Playdowns. He was champion both years, as he's going to clip the yellow and get it to roll to the edge of the 12 foot. So kind of a not exactly what McBride had wanted, as he had wanted to hit and roll, and kind of has it roll the wrong way. So the broom is down for, I believe, a draw to protect that shot stone on the wing on the outside, as we learn more about Fred Maxey. And Fred's been curling for 30 plus years. Previously was a semifinalist at the MoPac Playdowns last year. Was also a 2016 mixed national champion, as well as the 2022 senior national champion. And that rock is just going to be a little too heavy and go through the house out of play. So I missed there, unfortunately, for Fred. And so now Ross is being asked to take out the shot stone on the wing. And this looks pretty good. Gonna hit it, and then the shooter's gonna stick around for a shot stone. So we could be seeing a blank in the offing here, as that was the last Ross rock. And Ross, by the way, has been to junior nationals 4 times, and 10 through 13, and then played at junior worlds in 2012. So interesting biography for Mr. Ross. The broom is down for LeClair to hit the yellow stone. And I think they're looking to hit it on the inside, but they need to make sure it stays on the rock, and it flashes. So we had our Kodak moment there with the flash, unfortunately. So tough break for LeClair as it now sets up an opportunity for McBride to score two here with the hammer and holding a 2-0 lead. The broom is down for a draw. I'm going to guess he wants to split the rings. So he's, I think, going to draw to the left side from this view. And an opportunity, a window door opens for Justin McBride and his rink out of the OC Curling Club. So I think that it's key here that it makes it, and it's going to be maybe a little light as all three sweepers join in. They want to make sure it touches paint, and it will settle in on the 8-foot ring. So a good sweep there to really, really help the shot for McBride as the skip exchanges not high fives, but kind of you know what I mean. Like they acknowledge that the work that the sweepers did. So LeClair is going to hit this blue, and I think try to roll towards the center as the broom is down for Bob LeClair. Sweepers are on it early, and this looks pretty good, but there's a chance it might roll out after hitting, and it does roll out. So McBride has an open draw for two. But the hit was made to kind of cut down any possible damage. And McBride is sitting one, a strong chance for two, unless he wants to blank the end. You don't want to blank the end in this case. So his rock is away here. Last rock, the hammer being dropped by Justin McBride. Just needs to touch paint for that second point. And why not go all dramatic here? As we'll see the stone coast into the rings and then slow to sit down just in the back 8-foot ring. So good draw there from McBride to secure the second points and to take a 4-1 lead over Team LeClair. So uh, they were waiting a second to kick stones. I was curious why. But the stones have been kicked, and we are to the end break. So we'll take a pause in the action. We'll be right back to the 2025 DoubleTakeout.com MoPac Championships coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. So as they are getting set for this next end, I want to let you know more about where we're at in the standings. As we are playing, we have 12 men's teams in the field, divided into two pools of 6 teams each. That means the top 2 teams from each pool will advance to the playoffs tomorrow morning as part of Championship Sunday. LeClair and McBride are atop Pool B, and so LeClair is going to the playoffs regardless of this game. They're at 4-0, and the worst they can be is 4-1, and that kind of sets the first playoff spot in Pool B. McBride is at 3-1, so if McBride were to win, I think that would set the pool for B. The rest of the pool includes Barajas and Raju at 2-2. with Spangler and Betts bringing up the rear. Uh, and we're going to see this first stone from Neil Hunter Smith settle in on the button. And it looks like LeClair is going to draw, is my bet, with Tom's first rock. In-turn rotation. So pool A, the other pool, looks like Team Campbell is in as he has a 4-0 record, and every other team has 2 or more losses. So Team Campbell of Coyotes is in. And then we have 2 teams fighting for the second spots, including Team Aronson and Team Tate of Coyotes. Um, and actually, Pool B appears to be mostly done, as I say that because Aronson and Tate have both played 5 games. They're at 3-2, and then Murray has played 5 games at 2-3. So it looks like the playoff is set in the second in the Pool A. So Campbell is definitely going, and I'm going to ask the warm room about the other team. 1 second. All right, had some help with the warm room because just going over the tiebreaker. So it looks like Tate defeated Aronson in the pool play, so it appears that Tate is going to go to the playoffs with Campbell. So this game is really to kind of see if other teams in Pool B will stay alive. Good to know. Um, so we see a hit and roll there from Danielson's second stone. So just to recap, in Team A, sorry, Pool A, it looks like Team Campbell is advancing to the playoffs as the 1 seed, joined by Team Tate. If I'm correct, I could be wrong, but just based on the head-to-head, it's Team Tate. Pool B, LeClair is going, and then McBride is in a prime position to advance, especially if they were to win this game today. Rocks in play as we see Peter Johns with his first rock. Turning to the women's field, we have we have 7 teams in the field, so we're playing a complete round robin where each women's team plays 6 games, and it seems like we are pretty close to being set. Although the third playoff spot is to be determined. We have Team Aubrey currently at 4-1. They have 1 game to go, and they are up. They only have 1 loss. Team Aces is a step behind at 4-2. And then we have Team Camarena and Team Thengdarai at 3-2, along with Team Walsh at 3-2. So we still have a lot of teams in the hunt for the 3 playoff spots in the women's field. Um, I would guess the Aubrey's going to go, but it looks like if Aubrey were to lose their last game, there's a possibility to have several teams tied at 4-2. So can't say for sure. I can say that Jeff Baird's hit and roll looks to be pretty successful as he was able to hit and push one of the blues in the center back to the house. And so now it appears that McBride is sitting 1 on the edge of the button, as we can see from the overhead. But LeClair has 2 yellows somewhat buried on the top side, or it's going to be left side when I change the angles here. So it looks like McBride was looking at maybe opening up that side, And I think he's opting to maybe freeze as we see Johns' second stone made its way down the ice. That that dug in right there. I don't know if it picked, but it really dug in, and the sweepers are working to hold on. And it looks like it's going to crash on the guard. I think it picked because the way that it just kind of dug in and swooped towards the guard, and they were looking for maybe some debris on the ice. You can see, maybe picking something off the ice. And now, unfortunate miss there for McBride, and it opens the door for Jeff Baird to bop this blue out and be sitting three, and maybe with a little luck, get a double takeout here. So it looks like it's going to get the blue out. It's going to run it back, past the blue in the back. The shooter's going to roll wide to the bottom of the screen or to the right as we change views. So LeClair is sitting three and has something cooking here, down three in the fourth end of a possible 8 ends of regulation. So that I'm going to say it was a picked rock. It definitely does make it very complicated on that left side. Uh, I think McBride is maybe looking at a heavy draw. You could also like. I think the heavy draw. I think also like if he ends up peeling one of the guards, that's not bad either. Just to open up more access as McBride, I think, took another look at the path of where the stone needs to go as Ross delivers, I believe. Throwing some heat. I said heat. This is just gonna be a draw. But it does look to be carrying a little bit, and so Leclerc might jump on to make sure it goes away. Although it looks like Johns jumped on to make sure that the rock wasn't going to be a factor. So another miss, unfortunately, for McBride, and so it looks like McBride has some work to do. And LeClair does as well to try to secure a multiple point score here in this fourth end. So as I said, we're playing 8 ends of regulation. Teams can choose to resign early if they want to hit the bar, hit the concession stand, or just recognize that the game is out of hand, which is not. We haven't seen too many early concessions in this tournament, at least on our feature sheet. Seen some really great play all around. All of our games have gone the distance, which is what you want to hear. And so we have Fred Matzey's first rock, looking to, I think, draw onto the pile. Be a front stone's also fine. And looks to almost freeze it on top. Um, I think McBride's best bet is just to open up the front so he can make access to these three yellows on the side. Um, Peeling isn't going to be super dangerous. I guess there's a slight risk of running the yellow into the rings, but uh, Leclerc is sitting four right now, and so McBride is choosing to peel the guard. There's an old adage from a curling podcast: two ladies in a curl, two women in a game. Pardon me. Um, where Mother Mary would say you can't go wrong by clearing the guard, and that seems to be the case here as he clears the guards and the shooter's going to roll away. Opens access to those yellows to the point where I think Leclerc would like to close the door again, seeing as he's gesturing towards uh, a tight guard in the path to those stones. And so I just kind of, when you have a three in the hand, you would definitely want to protect it. and that definitely makes sense as Fred Maxey delivers. Looking at his release, a nice smooth release there. Wants to make sure it stays high. This is one of those shots where the line is more important than the distance, although you don't want it to go too deep. And the line is looking pretty good. Let's see how it shapes up. It's close to where LeClair had initially wanted it. I think it's almost on the money. So a good shot there from Fred Maxey as he maximizes his advantage. I'm going to not use that pun anymore because the only thing I can think of is maximizing. So, which is good. It has its uses, but don't want to overdo it. So now there's some protection. I mean those three are protected. So I think McBride is looking to draw around that guard that was put up and sit shot a little buried. Um, Also, maybe just to position the stone away so that LeClair, if he's unlucky, could run the McBride stone into the pile of yellows and do some of McBride's work for him. Brooms down 4 skip stones. Facing 4, looking to draw into the rings, I believe. Wants to be buried. I would think about the T line. Seeing some hiccups in the stream. I apologize. Hasn't been an issue so far in this event, but we definitely appreciate people tuning in, and also I definitely appreciate the club San Francisco for having a streaming setup that is pretty darn powerful. And this shot looks to be uh, most of what McBride had wanted. It's open though, only about a sliver buried, and so LeClair can take it on, and I think maybe also roll a little wide. So that seems to be what the shot is. Leclerc doesn't want a nose hit. He wants to hit on the outside or the bottom of the blue from this angle to get rid of that shot stone, and then also have the shooter roll towards I think the 8-foot ring and be sitting 5. So McBride doing some damage control, and Leclerc's looking to bring some damage here in the fourth end as Leclerc's shot is away. And this rock is looking pretty good. It might be over curling slightly. They're trying to hold the line, and it's going to be probably more of a nose hit. So Leclerc is sitting 5, and so a huge opportunity for Leclerc is still in the offing. But there is a potential for McBride to get out of this end by only giving up 2. So McBride is definitely in damage control mode here, looking for a place to hide to cut down the damage. Um, I guess people might ask, I've often asked, like, why not just draw on top of the yellow, kind of freeze on top? And the answer is often a freeze is the hardest shot in curling, and I found that out the hard way. And also, if you miss, then you create that opportunity for Leclerc to get a 6, I think. So the broom is down. McBride facing 5 in the rings again on damage control here, holding a 3-point advantage, but that might go away in the next 2 rocks as McBride's stone is away. Sweepers are on it, I think, looking to push it over, and this is handing out a bit, and so he's taking out the yellow, and then the shooter's going to roll to the bottom of the screen. It's going to be on the right wing, and so Leclerc is sitting 3 right now, and is looking to pop out the that blue that was just put up, and if he's successful and sits around, that will be 6. So that yellow that was on the button didn't go back that far. So just another miss, unfortunately, from McBride, it appears. I mean, it does cut LeClair down to 3 right now, but LeClair is looking for more. So a huge opportunity here for Bob LeClair and his Ring from Coyotes Curling Club, looking to make up a 3-point deficit and then some, as his last rock is away. Sweepers are on it and holding the line. I just also They just want to hit the blue close to the nose, and it looks like it's on the money, right on the nose. Count them up. That is a 6 spot for Bob LeClair. And my goodness, went from 4-1 in favor of Team McBride to 7-4 in favor of Bob LeClair. That is a huge swing there as we wrap up our first half of the game. And I turned off the score. So Bob LeClair and his rink are going to take a 7-4 lead into the fourth end break. We're going to take a pause as well as they take a 5-minute game to reflect, perhaps meditate on what they just saw and get set for the second half of the game. As they do, just another friendly reminder, the coverage of the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by Curling.gg is presented by DoubleTakeout.com. Proprietor Ken Pomeroy updates the sites throughout the competitive curling season and creates a custom ranking of the top men's and women's teams from around the world. See how your favorite team ranks at doubletakeout.com and by curling.gg. For stips and curlers who love a good game, curling.gg is your ultimate practice tool. Free, easy, and all about strategy. Visit curling.gg to test your skills. Writes meow. And by Endgame Curling. Endgame Curling, the manufacturers of the Endgame Icon and Endgame Origin, featuring eco-friendly fabric replacement. They're brooms, innovative locking sliding position, adjustable pivot resistance, a large radius sliding bar, and a quick disconnect broom head at endgamecurling.com. So pause in the action. Let's take a look around the rings, and we'll be back in just a moment as our coverage continues. Welcome back to our ongoing coverage of the draw number 10 of the MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. Um, After a superlative end by Team LeClair, both teams are back at it here in the fifth end of a possible 8 ends of regulation. Excuse me, rocks in play. We're underway here. Um, and it looks like LeClair was sitting 2, and they still will be after this. Pardon me. LeClair had a really awesome end with 6 spots, and it looks like they're keeping the pressure on Team McBride with this net stone coming from Jeff Baird. Team LeClair hailing out of the Coyotes Curling Club, a bunch of seasoned veterans facing Team McBride of OC Curling. And McBride also has a lot of experience. And as Sue on the chat points out, Sue is from OC Curling. She knows that Justin plays really well under pressure. You can't count them out yet. And totally agree as Baird's draw appears to be successful. And let's take a look at the overhead. Looks like LeClair is sitting 3 right now. And McBride controls his destiny for the playoffs. If they win, I believe they eliminate the other teams from contention. So this is a game. It's not a must-win, I believe, because I think if they were to lose this game, they would fall back to 3-2, or yes, that'd be 3-2, and so then it brings some of the 2-2 teams into play as we see some clearing action from the third for Team McBride, and some cleaning has been done. And so it looks like LeClair is gesturing for a guard or a tight front stone from Fred Maxey. And Fred's shot is away, doing the outturn counterclockwise rotation. Both sweepers jump on it. I think for weight as opposed to line. And this looked pretty good as the sweepers came off the stone. It looks like it over curled slightly, but it does provide a decent amount of cover. And so now McBride is looking to line up a angle raise, takeout, or at least clearing. Looking for ways to to open the middle for a scoring opportunity. And the teams kind of went to the warm room during their 5-minute halftime break, and one of the team players from McBride noted that at least they're down 3. So kind of looking for some silver lining here. And let's see if there is some joy as it does run the yellow into the rings, and will open up the middle. So that does seem to be a positive outcome for Team McBride, going from facing 4 to cutting LeClair down to 2. So definitely a positive result. Also, the guards in front of the house are now all McBride, and so there can be some possibilities for long runbacks as the end progresses. Maxi cleaning the rock, getting set for, I believe, a draw around that high center-ish guard, which you'll see in a moment. I can see both sides of the sheet with this equipment. So, but you'll see in a moment. Tom's just cleaning for now, and then went off of it. Looks like LeClair is going to be happy with a guard, but it is going to slip into the rings. And let's see how deep it'll go. is going to sit down in the back forefoot area. So it is a third counter for LeClair, but it does provide a bit of an opening for McBride to get out of this end with at least one, maybe 2 points, and really kind of jump back into this game. Uh, we there's a huge swing here, so we could also see another swing from Team McBride as he considers his options, and I think he is looking to see if he can maybe run the top blue, that guard blue on the right side, into the other blue into the pile. If he makes it, it could be pretty interesting. The safer shot is to draw, as he indicates, because there's a path now, and there's backing. Also, the other option is to maybe clear that center blue, sorry, the blue that's in the middle of the rot. So you have three rots up front, and it looks like McBride is going to try and take that on and try to angle that back to the pile on the top of the screen here. As the room is down, and we see Cameron Ross with his first rock, I believe. Threw a bunch of weight at this. Let's see where it ends up. Runs it back and then through the house out of play, not making contact. So rearranges the rock slightly, and then that angle run back is still there. It looks like LeClair is still looking to block the easiest path to the rings as he makes his way down the house. That is an interesting scoreline. I think I saw online that someone shared a result where a team scored a seven-ender in the first end and then ended up losing the game because they were basically held to only a couple points per end through the rest of the game. And the other team was able to score multiple points and really jump back into the lead. It turned out to be 11 to 10 in favor of the other team. It was a really crazy log line, and it makes you kind of say what and and how and what. So LeClair looking to put up a front stone, looking pretty good. The weight is, I think, more to what LeClair had wanted from Maxie's second stone. Also blocking that draw to the button. I'm. I think that the best shot is to try that angle raise again. Uh, because if he hits it right, I think he'll run the blue into the pile and also open up the middle so he has a chance for a draw. But then also what might happen is that LeClair will, clog that middle up, and then McBride is hurting for a draw to the button for a single point. Um, the other option is they're looking at a long run back of the that blue on the center line. As you can see here, let's also change views to the over the shoulder view here. So you can kind of see the run back that they need to make to as their option. And I don't know. I'm trying to guess what angle they want because if they angle it directly back, I just think they might have a little roll. That could be something that they're looking for. Um, just a tricky shot here. As we see Justin McBride get set, looking to run the blue back, and I think looking for a little McBride magic here late in this fifth end. It crashes on the guard, so it opens it up, and it seems to maybe be the plan B that they were looking for, but LeClair is sitting four now, and looking to put up a front stone, a guard, and to just really make it hard for McBride to get into the ring. So just Just crazy how these games can swing sometimes. We were just talking about that game that a team scored a seven-ender and still lost the game. This is a situation where McBride jumped out early, and it looked pretty strong for McBride, and then LeClair, jumps up and kind of responds with a punch of his own of six to take a 7-4 lead, and that's where we're at here. As Bob LeClair is set and delivering a potential guard to protect the four rocks in the rings. This is something else, guys. I'm glad you tuned in today. This has been a fun one. So the sweepers are working to. They need to kind of push it over a little bit more if they can, and that actually kind of ends up where Leclerc had wanted and where Maxi had the broom. Went a little deep. Those two blues are not in a great place, and so now McBride is looking for a slight circus shot. Although Cameron Ross, the vice, is kind of pointing out that hey, we might be able to do like a hit and roll or just a heavy draw to prevent giving up more than giving up a fistful, as a cartoon fistful because there's four stones, not five, and cartoon characters only have four fingers. Uh, as we see, yeah, so McBride is not looking at the circus shot anymore, looking at a draw. I think to try to get a piece of the forefoot for um, a possible draw for one, or at the very least cuts Leclerc down to two or three. Although now I see McBride taking another look at that angle in off. It's an in off shot. Pardon me. And that seems to be what he's going for. This is a You have to look at the risk and reward factor here, as I've been saying throughout the weekend. I guess every tournament I had to have kind of uh, a, a philosophy or a practice to keep in mind. In this event, I've been saying risk reward a lot. Uh, this seems to be a high risk shot, and you have to ask yourself what the reward is. The reward is going to be one. I don't think I can see McBride getting two here. And so high risk, low reward. If you were to draw on the other side from the bottom here or for the left side, um, he could miss it. There's still a risk, but the reward is possibly getting a single, or at the very least, not giving up a fistful to Leclerc. Um, and people might disagree, and I'm not on the ice. I don't know the conditions, and I don't know every shot that these players can make. So McBride knows his team, he knows himself, and let us see here with the last shot here, facing four, looking for an in off or an angle raise for one. So looking for in off. We got the in and we got the off to go to the full 4 foot or most of the 4 foot for a single point. So, hey, also it looked like he had a chance for two there. So, like I said, he knows the ice more than I. Um, it does get a single. Definitely stays alive to draw within two. But Leclerc really had a lot of pressure in that end, and we'll see if Leclerc can keep it up as we head into the sixth end. As our coverage continues from the 2025 doubletakeout.com MoPac Championships, coming to you live from the San Francisco Bay Area Curling Club. And I don't know if I don't think I've mentioned it this game, but the some of the volunteers at the San Francisco Cisco Club have let me know that there are some upcoming events that our viewers might be interested in. California curlers can enter for the California Curling Classic set for February 21, 23. Registration is open now. Four team spots remaining, and there's a five-game guarantee, which sounds very exciting. And then for curlers with 5 years of experience or less, the Oaktown 5 and Under is set for February 7th and the 9th. There are many team spots remaining. It is not a qualifier for the national championship, but it's a fun event and it hopefully encourages newer curlers to experience what a bonspiel is like. Because curling in league is a lot of fun, but being at a bonspiel just takes that up to a whole another level. Again, that's at February 7th through 9 at and registration's open for both of those events. Registration opening in March, early March, for the U.S. Women's Curling Association All American. It's a one-day mini spiel or just a one-day spiel on May 10th. Three-person teams. The event is geared primarily towards women and people who identify as women, but with the three-person teams, you can have two people who identify as women and one other person who might be a man. Again, creating some opportunities there as the shot from Tom Danielson ends up in the back forefoot, and then the other event they wanted to let me know about was let you guys know about was the ball bonspiel for recognizing LGBTQ, set for June 20th to the 22nd. And so for those two events, the All American on May 10th and the Ball Bonspiel from June 20th to 22nd, registration opens on March 3rd. So I'm sure more information on the SF San Francisco Bay Area Curling websites, which I'm going to pull up right now because I don't want to give you bad information. That's going to be bayareacurling.com for more information. So it looks like McBride was able to draw on top of Tom's first rock. And so it looks like Tom is going to respond by drawing on top of the McBride rock. Kind of set up a situation with the angles here in this sixth end. We have 2.5 ends to go, and it looks like McBride might be running a little tight on time, but they're still doing pretty well on time. As we see this rock go past the guard and settle in the top 8 foot. So um, this is probably one of the more exciting games we've seen this weekend, especially with the shot selection. These teams are atop their pool, and I can see why after watching the last few ends. As we see the second for McBride, Peter Johns deliver his shots. So looking for the angles here, and this is going to be more of a front stone touching the top of the rings, but angles do seem to favor McBride, perhaps, because especially with that guard in the way. And so now with the guard zone over with this stone, LeClair is looking for some clearance from Jeff Baird. As coverage of this end is going to be brought to you by curling.gg. Going to hit the blue. Does make some contact on the blue and the rings, and so it hits both blues moving as well as one yellow. So it definitely opens up the middle. And so kind of the angle game that looked like it was being set up has turned into a pretty open front of the house. McBride is shots, and LeClair is sitting second shot in the back forefoot. So interesting setup here as Johns delivers his second stone. And it looks like they're saying it's going to end up kind of touching the 12-foot ring. He's holding up the number 4, which I think would indicate the 4 zone. So we have one more game of pool play after this. Dan Stephanie knows in the chat he won't be able to be there, but maybe looking for some Sunday league fun. It's a Saturday game, of course. That game is coming up at 8:30 tonight. And that nightcap, some MoPac After Dark, will feature Team Campbell of Coyotes facing Team Gilberts. Um, And that game, I think, is going to be mostly academic, but it will definitely enjoy seeing those teams. As one of the things that we were able to do this year, thanks to the competitive chair, Ken Pomeroy, he was able to arrange the draw so every team was able to be featured on the broadcast at least once. And I think that's the first time that we've been able to do that. And definitely thanks to Ken for being considerate to find a way to showcase all of these great teams on the stream at least once, including Team Campbell and Team Gilbert's coming up at 8:30. This one might be over curling a smidge, and it's also possibly hogging, and so Das Hog, which is my failed competitor to Hagen Dazs. It's just a hog. It's a hog. It's a Hagen Rock, I guess. Uh, Oh man, I'm so glad I'm here. I'm so glad you guys are here. It's been fun just talking to myself and hopefully the other viewers for hours on end. Looks like LeClair is going to take advantage of the miss from McBride to hit and roll. Looking for Fred Maxey to take advantage of the situation. You can see in the background that McBride has just under 8 minutes to play two ends plus, and LeClaire has 12 minutes plus, almost 13 minutes. Looking for a hit and roll here. Looks pretty good for the hits. If we're going to get a roll, we do get no roll, and actually the blue chipped on the back yellow to push it to the back 12 foot, but it does open things up a bit in the center still. It looks like LeClaire is sitting just the one as the McBride blue appears to be out counting it, barely perhaps. So the broom is down for McBride and the vice Cameron Ross to bop out the yellow that Maxey just put up. I guess the other thing that Dan noted that he was going to be out on the ice for MoPac After Dark. So he's not missing MoPac After Dark. He's just enjoying MoPac After Dark in its native environment, the curling ice. So definitely, I mean, it's fun to do these broadcasts, but I do have to say it's more fun to be on the ice, or funner, as it were. As Ross was able to make the hit, and so now it looks like Maxey is going to be asked to return the favor. Had a good release of energy as we see the stone go down. They're trying to push it over to make sure it makes contact, and it will. And it looks like it is going to scoot under the blue on the back 12 foot. So it is now McBride sitting shot, I believe. Although they are taking a close look at it. And I think the call would be to draw on top of the yellow. Yep. It's always great when the skip agrees with me, or I agree with the skip. And that way, McBride is sitting two with the some good separation, so Leclerc can't get rid of both. And then the question is what Leclerc might be able to do to try to create multiple point situation. After this end, we're going to take a trip around the rings to see how the other teams are doing on the ice as part of our goal to let our viewers know how some of their favorite teams are doing. Scores are being posted to bondspieler.com, of course. So the broom's down. I think looking for a draw to the LeClaire yellow in the back 12 foots. And McBride gets the rock off pretty quickly, especially since he only has 6.5 minutes to play and two ends and one rock. So it's still not too bad. Although, like I said you want to have probably like at least 3.5 minutes per end. So I would guess that the next end, McBride is going to try to play a little bit more speedily. And this shot is a little inside, but enough to tap back. And so I would count that shot as being made. And so now LeClair is looking at hitting. And I think maybe roll. Trying to guess. I would think he would want to hit on the inside because if he hits it on the outside, he could jam, and that doesn't help at all. Although if he throws it right on the nose, it'll probably dislodge the yellow as the blue goes out. So interesting setup here for Bob LeClair. Looking to hit out the blue. I think stick around. I wonder if I don't think he's trying to set up a blank, but that's also possible. As it looks like it's going to hit it close to nose. The blue is going to hit. Okay, that might be what they wanted to do because now the blue jammed on the yellow and rolled kind of towards the wing. And so now there's a little backing for that yellow stone, which is shot. Um, that blue that is right next to it does not appear to be shot. So I guess we'll see what happens in terms of where the rocks end up. Um, I would think for McBride, the question is to hit the yellow out in a way so it doesn't jam and then be sitting 2 or maybe 3 at the end. And then LeClair is going to be forced to a single, which is a positive outcome for McBride, who is now under 6 minutes of time. As you can see from the clock, as he makes his way down, he's probably going to let the stone go with about 5 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. As he cleans his rock and it gets set. All right, I was off by a second, guys. Looking to take out the LeClair yellow, sit 2 or 3, and force LeClair to a draw for 1. Sweepers are called off. This is going to hit and jam. Okay, so that was the way that he didn't want to miss because the yellow jammed and then rolled towards the center for second shot. So now Leclerc can take out the shot blue from McBride on the top side here and score 2. So just a unlucky miss there from Justin McBride, opening the door for Bob Leclerc to not draw, to hit for 2. And I guess there's always a chance that Leclerc can miss this. That Leclerc can miss this. Words are fun, guys. Uh, Bob gets sets and is going to throw a takeout for 2. Ideally, probably close to nose, maybe slightly inside. Does not want to roll out or roll too wide. And that does not appear to be a concern as they're going to hit on the inside. It's going to roll. Now the question is, where is it going to stop? It's going to hit the brakes in time in the back 12 foot for 2. So uh, made me sweat a little bit to see if the rock was going to stick around, but Leclerc's rock does stick around despite a vigorous sweep from Cameron Ross. As Leclerc extends his lead to 9-5, a 4-point lead. As we'll take another pause in the action, we'll be right back to the 2025 MoPac Championships presented by curling.gg. So while they get set for this next end, let's take a look around the rings and update you all about the other games in progress. So on sheet A, a women's game between Team Aubrey of Coyotes up 7-3 over Team Camarena of SFBACC. Sheet B is our feature game as we see LeClair of Coyotes is up 9-5 over McBride of OC Curling. On sheet C, we had an early result. Team Walsh of San Francisco, an 8-2 winner over Team Ewers of OC Curling. Sheet D, we have Team Barajas of San Francisco up 6-0 over Team Raju of SFBACC. And then the women's draw on sheet E, we have Team Thangadurai of San Francisco up 6-2 over Team McDonald of Coyotes. And I know McDonald is looking for their first win as they're being skipped by Megan Grow. Returning to our feature sheet, Tom Danielson drew to the rings, and so now Neil Hunter Smith is going to try to, I think, draw on top as coverage of this end is being brought to you by End Game Curling. So Neil Hunter Smith has been curling for just 1 year, and it looks like he's been able to hang with the big boys, as it were, putting up a corner guard very quickly. Tom gets set to throw his second stone, and Tom's been curling for 12 years. Um, his nicknames include the Tractor and Nostradamus, a play on words, of course, of Nostradamus. He also won the Miss Congeniality Award at the 2020 Club Nationals. So I would have liked to have been there for that, just to see that, as he puts another stone in the rings. Um, Neil Hunter Smith is, I think, going to be asked to do some clean. Actually, he's being asked to put up another corner guard. His best finish was the B event runner-up at the 2024 Hollywood on Location Bonspiel at Coyotes. He was originally from Scotland and used to be a professional golfer. Growing up in Saudi Arabia, his girlfriend, who got him into curling, is now a curling widow uh, because Neil's at the club so often. So that's a fun fact. And that rock does slip into the rings, and so LeClair is going to ask Jeff Baird to take it on. Jeff has been curling for 12 years, as I mentioned. His note is that he's a pretty good sweeper, and that definitely seems to be the case, given some of the rocks that he and Tom have had to sweep this game. Looking for some takeout action here on the McBride Blue, and that's going to do the takeout, and it's going to roll towards the center, kind of bouncing off the top stone and rolling wide to the bottom, creating a bit of a pocket for the second of McBride to take on. And again, that is going to be Peter Johns. And Peter Johns is the pretty okay sweeper. uh, Jeff Baird is a fun fact that we're going to get to in the next game. Oh my goodness. Going to flash there. So that's a Kodak moment that I think McBride would like to take back. And so now LeClair is sitting 3, and this is an end where McBride needs to score, I would think, 2 or 3 to have a chance to stay in this game. Otherwise, LeClair might have an insurmountable lead. Although teams might play out the string, especially since McBride, I think, would like to be in control of its playoff destiny. So Jeff Baird, curling for 12 years, his fun fact is that he was allegedly the 2020 MoPac Mixed champion. I'm not quite sure about allegedly, maybe because there may have not been a mixed that year because of COVID. Not quite sure. That front stone seems to be heading to a good position. Uh, I think LeClair would like it to be in the rings, but it ends up over curling slightly. So that pocket is still there for McBride to take on. So Baird's fun fact was he currently possesses Arizona's largest private collection of My Little Pony figurines. So indeed a fun fact, as we see Peter Johns' stone head down the way. Sweepers are on it. I think looking for some redemption for his first stone. He may have had the wrong handle, as it looks like he's going to make contact on one stone. Did 2 yellows moving, and the shooter's going to end up behind the center guard. So some redemption there for Peter Johns, who is the pretty good sweeper. And so now it is LeClair sitting 2. The shot stone is open. The second stone is pretty buried, and then McBride is sitting third shot. So Fred Maxey is getting set for his first stone. And just to recap, he's been curling for 30 plus years. Some top finishes include the mixed national champion in 2016, as well as the senior national champion in 2022. Looks like we have some more games coming off the ice, so let's keep an eye on that. And looking for another front stone, and that shot was made by Fred Maxey. And yes, Sheet C, the women's game between Team Walsh and Team Ewers, that was the game that ended. Um, I saw a member of Walsh on in the warm room, so I was just double checking what may have happened. Uh, Shots away from Cameron Ross, again looking to go into the pile and move some yellow granite, which is different from yellow snow, I've been told. And that looks like a pretty good shot there as it runs the yellow onto the blue and pushes the blue on top of the yellow. Yellow LeClair is still shot, but McBride is right there with the second stone in the 4 foot ring. So that was a good shot there from Cameron as we see Fred Maxey about to get set for his second and final stone of this end. Looking to, I think, kind of close the door and really junk up the front here. Given the scoreboard, I think LeClair is happy to, be in a position to steal one. Making sure there's rocks in place. So if McBride were to get to shot position, it's only going to be for one. Let me show you guys what I'm seeing, which is the other phrase of the weekend. In addition to the high risk, high reward reflection. So that looks pretty good. And so I think McBride is going to try kind of a pinball clearing action that worked well for him last time, as Ross's rock is away. You're going to see some rocking and rolling, hoping to see some earth shaking. Although this rock is not a missile, so we're going to see some gentle pinball action. It does run the blue onto the yellows. It does open things up a bit and does kind of shift control of the front towards McBride. So I would think that that is going to be a good shot there. Um, that is a very lonely McBride blue in second scoring position, surrounded by three LeClair yellows in the rings. So I think again, LeClair playing the scoreboard is just going to keep trying to junk up the front and then force McBride to have a miracle shot for one or two. And again, one or two is not a it's a pretty good tolerance to have. Um, I think given the score, I think Leclerc is okay with a steal of one for him or a force of one for McBride. Giving up two kind of keeps McBride kind of in striking distance, so I don't think he wants to give up two if he can avoid it. Um, as Leclerc's first stone is away, looking to just junk up the front. The line is the most important, and Tom has the broom on where he wants it to end up, and that looks pretty close to being on the money, preventing an easy run back by McBride. You can see McBride hustled down the ice because he has 4 minutes and 40 seconds to play an end in two stones. So he's definitely hoping for a chance to play the eighth end as he gets set and quickly delivers. He's probably going to have about 4 minutes, or maybe 3 minutes and 45 seconds to play the last end, which is still a pretty good amount of time to have. So it looks like he's going to throw. Ooh, he's throwing through the port. And it's through. Oh, it pinballs off of the guard and goes through the house out of play. That was so close there for McBride. Opens up the middle slightly, so I think Leclerc's going to try to draw and block the run back down the middle. When we switch to the head-on view, we can see that that port is pretty open now for McBride to get to, and so Leclerc is looking to maybe shut the front door, as it were, and Interesting setup. Let's get set up for LeClair to throw his last. And LeClair is doing pretty well on time. He'll have about 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and plenty of time for uh, LeClair to finish the game. Both sweepers, Barrett and Danielson, are sweeping, just I think to clean. Uh, so I guess they're pretty confident in where it might end up, and they just want to clog the hole. And as we see that shot go down, we saw McBride made his way down, and I think this might be a situation where McBride is going to. He's throwing really quickly. Uh, they had to encourage LeClair to move to the side. And it looks like he's just throwing kind of a bit of a raise. Oops, my apologies about that. Let's change views quickly. And that's going to go through the rings out of play. So it's going to be a steal of one. And based on the fact that that McBride threw that stone pretty heavily, he's hoping for a chance to play out this fourth end. But it's a pretty tall order, being down five to finish this game. But we'll see what happens when we come back to the 2025 doubleKTout.com MoPac Championships. We'll be right back. I will do my best to provide updates of these games and the games tonight, just to let the YouTube stream know. I got your back. Uh, while they're about to finish the timeout here, let's do a quick trip around the rings to let you guys know the games that are still in action. Team Aubrey of Coyotes is up 7-4 over Team Camarena on sheet one. Sheet B is our feature sheet. Sheet C finished early with Team Walsh taking an 8-2 win over Team Yours, as Team McBride is taking the victory formation, as it were, throwing through the rings to prevent providing backing for any McBride shots. We're going to hopefully see Neil Hunter Smith here throw a guard to provide some cover. They need to have 5 stones to tie, 6 to win. And Neil Hunter Smith, he's been trailing for a year, but definitely I think has really taken to the game really well, as we see the corner guard put up. And the broom is down for Tom Danielson to throw another victory formation shots, especially because the other team can't clear guards until you can't clear opposing guards until after the fifth rock to the end. So victory formation again, throwing through. It's not a totally useless practice. In addition to not providing backing for the other team, it also kind of gives you some information about different paths on the ice. So smart teams are throwing along different paths to see what they can do here. Looks like Neil is going to be asked to throw another corner guard for the opposite direction. And recapping the other games in progress, Team Barajas of San Francisco is up 6-2 over Team Raju, also of San Francisco. And on sheets E, the women's game between Thington Durai of San Francisco, they're up 9-2 over Team McDonald of Coyotes. So keeping you up to date on the action. Also to let you all know that our final pool play game is going to be coming up at 8:30 tonight Pacific time, where our feature game will be Team Campbell of Coyotes taking on Team Gilbert from Oval Curling of Utah. So it looks like we're going to see a final victory formation throw through the rings, and then with the 5 rock rule over after this shot, LeClair is going to probably try to hit some stones. Uh, some some words exchanged from the skips, kind of a laugh. So hopefully, uh, some positive words. And the chat is asking what sort of a drinking game to play tonight, and I shudder to think. I was to say you could play with some malort, which is a curling tradition of sorts. So with 5 rocks remaining after this stone, basically McBride needs every rock to count, almost every rock to count from here on out, especially as LeClair has the broom down for the takeout. So Jeff Baird gets sets. Uh, Teeth on the chat says no, my lords, and like I guess I'm not making the rules up, so that's totally fair game right there. And we're just gonna see Jeff Baird's shots. It's gonna trash the guard, which is not too bad. It does keep McBride in the hunt to try and find places to hide 5 stones to stay alive. They're tied on time too, so the second for McBride, Peter Johns is quick to deliver the rock. I say they're tight on time. They have 3 minutes and 47 seconds now, so they could probably go back to a more deliberate pace. I'll say they can't lollygag, but they also have their timeout, so they don't have to stress throwing and maybe run the risk of making an error in haste, as that stone's going to end up being partially buried, and so McBride is going to take it on. Um, I guess going to that side because if he gets one or both the stones, that's going to be doing a great job of reducing McBride, possibly running McBride out of stones. So this is Fred Maxey with his first. So by going to the other side, he would have a higher risk of missing. In this case, you have 2 stones to possibly hit. So if you hit one, that's totally great. And this looks pretty good as it chips it out. And so now McBride is to his last free rock, I guess. Every rock needs to count from here on out. I guess there could be a chance of splitting that top blue into the rings if it gets that far. As Johns delivers, or this is Cameron Ross, I believe, with his first. As we are to the vice stones of the ends. And this rock is curling. McBride is using the corner guard or trying to use the corner guard, but it's going to hang out a little bit. And McBride is trying to push it over as much as he can. Brooms down for Fred Maxey to do the takeout again. And this might be it. As maybe not totally it, as Tom is sweeping, working to hold the line. And now Baird joins in to help and does hit it out. And so not quite done yet because they're not. McBride is not mathematically eliminated. We do see another game exiting the ice. We'll keep you updated as soon as this draw concludes or this game concludes. And this stone is looking to draw on top of the yellow shot stone. So now all LeClair needs to do is just hit that stone and run him out. So he's not going to go to the stone in the rings and risk jamming or maybe risk missing on the other side. So the broom is down for a takeout, I believe, as Bob LeClair makes his way down the ice. looking for a hit, and this, I believe, will make it official to run McBride out of stones. I'm trying to count. It needs 5, and so this hit would cut McBride down to 4 possible stones. That would be the ball game. So the shot is here. It looks like the shot is made, and that is going to be handshakes. Make the final 10-5 for LeClair, who goes through this pool play undefeated, finishing with a 10-5 win over the number 2 seed in the pool, 10-5. With that loss, McBride might be dropped into the hunt for um, the second playoff berth from the pool. Uh, and indeed, that does appear to be the case. So it looks like let's do a quick recap of the games on the recap. Sorry, talking too much. Before we do the recap, I just want to let people know that coverage of this event was being brought to you by uh, doubletakeout.com. Sorry, the teams are exchanging kind of pleasantries, so I want to kind of stay on that. But this event is being brought to you by doubletakeout.com. Offering a comprehensive ranking of the top men's and women's teams from around the world, updated after major curling events at doubletakeout.com, and by curling.gg. Test your skip skills against your friends online at curling.gg, free online curling platform with real physics simulation, and also by Endgame Curling. Endgame Curling offering the travel handle, 3-piece travel handle, full carbon fiber, engineered for convenience and fits most carry-on luggage. Endgamecurling.com. So let's take a trip around the rings with our feature game concluded. We'll go to around the rings coverage to see what games are still in action, and it appears to be only one game on sheet A. So let's pop over to that right now, as we are, I believe, to skip stones. We have the last draw coming from Team Aubrey. Uh, so Oh, this is the 7th end for Team Aubrey. So it looks like gonna let Team Camarena have a single point here, a steal of 1. So we're gonna have the final coming up in just a moment, but I'll be right back as I'm gonna take some team photos. Be right back. Okay, folks. Class photo day is over, and we're going to check the action here on our bonus coverage sheet, where Team Aubrey is up 7-5 over Team Camarena, and Aubrey has the hammer coming home. But there's also a lot of rocks in the rings. But Aubrey does hold the advantage, sitting shot right on the pin. But there's a lot of rocks around it, including two Camarena yellows, including one yellow that looks to be like right on the lid. So a wrong hit could change the tenor of this end. As we see the third for Team Camarena, this looks to be Sarah Chan, if I remember correctly. As her rots away, looking to open things up, and I think to have a chance to take out. Oh, that's going to run into the pile, moves things around, and not a bad outcome. It definitely opens up the button, opens up the pin, and it looks like it is now Aubrey is still sitting one, and there's still a lot of Camarena yellow around the rings. Teams have plenty of time to finish this end, as we were just halfway through the end, so that team photos didn't take a lot of time at all, guys. Uh, and that was the third for Camarena, although she is not holding the broom, if I remember correctly, for the skip stones. So we get to see Luba Brock. She was the woman that unfortunately had a bit of a spill near the home end yesterday afternoon, but she got medical attention and obviously is back to being on the ice. And so definitely hope that her recovery is going well. She definitely needed some medical attention in terms of like making sure that she's okay. And last night the team said that she was feeling fine and looks okay from here. As we see, looks like a draw, but this might crash on the guard. I think not a bad outcome because it's making the draw harder. Um, Camarena being yellow again, looking to they need to steal two to tie, three to win. And so the broom is down, looking to tap the yellow up. It looks like so that yeah, again they need to be in a position to be sitting two when it's all said and done. And this looks to be a little outside, so they're trying to, I think, coach it over. But it just taps. Oh, it taps it just enough to sit shot right on the back button. That was a really good response there by Sarah Chant. So we are near Skip Stones. It looks like Luva has one more stone for Team Aubrey with the hammer here in the eighth end, and then we'll be at Skip Stones. So it looks like Aubrey is playing to just prevent Camarena from having access to the button for that second point. Uh, if they give up a single point here, that's not the end of the world because they'll win the game. As Luba gets set and delivers, looking for a blocker, a front stone, just to cut cut down the scoring possibilities. Based on the weight, this is actually looking to maybe hit the yellow back. It looks like it's going to go into the pile and sit right next to the yellow. We're seeing some really excellent shots here, folks. As I don't know who's scoring right now, and I guess we'll see if it's going to stay that way. I don't know if people in the chat have any idea of who might be shots. But also it definitely narrows the scoring area for any possibility of Camarena to score two. Um, so it looks like Camarena would like to draw on top of the red that was thrown. Just a tricky situation. Also, where the broom is positioned, I think there's a real risk of jamming on the guard up top, as Monica Hernandez is holding the broom for Adriana Camarena. Looking for the outturn counterclockwise rotation. Looking to, I think, hit the red out or hit the red back and create a pocket for that possible second shot. This is going to move some granites, and it does open things up for a possibility. Now the question is how Aubrey will respond, and then how Camarena will possibly have a shot. She might not have a shot after this, as it is now Aubrey sitting one for sure, but there's a Camarena yellow right nearby. So Debbie Aubrey's, I think, going to try to close the door, and if she were to miss, then there could be a possibility for Camarena to hit that red back and sit her two that she needs. So this shot first, a key, crucial shot coming from Debbie Aubrey from the Coyotes Curling Club. And this looks like it's on the guard. And this could be the opening that Camarena needs to possibly steal the win. So Camarena is in her last minute of time, but the path is open for that hit. And I think just a slight bump to push it to the back forefoot. Well, the line's so important. She's got to throw the same way that she threw her for her first, as Adriana Camarena's last rock is headed down the way. Needs to sit two to have a chance to steal the extra end. And they're working to push it over. It looks pretty close. It's going to do some pinball. Oh, and it kind of does pinball up to where Camarena is sitting one, but they need two. So I don't know if they're worried about needing. I don't know why they're playing this shot. I think the game is over unless they think that unless they think they need another point somewhere. Um, Players are taking a look, but based on the scoreboard, Camarena needed two to tie, and it looks like the most she can get is one, unless they think that red in the back isn't counting. But I also think that I don't know. They're taking a look at the situation, and they are offering handshakes. It looks like so. Um, there were a lot of rocks in play, so it is, I think, totally understandable that that might be what happened there. So handshakes, as Camarena was not able to sit two to steal the tie and force the extra end. So That concludes this draw. Before we sign off, just to recap really quickly, the final score is Aubrey secured a 7-5 win over Team Camarena. On sheet B, our feature game, Team LeClair went through pool play undefeated with a 10-5 win over Team McBride. On sheet C, a women's game between Team Walsh, the 8-2 winners over Team Ewers. Sheet D, the contest between Team Barajas, 7-2 winners over Team Raju. And then on sheet E, Team Thengdarai was a 9-3 winner over Team McDonald of Coyotes. So that will wrap things up for this end. We definitely appreciate you tuning in, and we hope that you'll tune in tonight for our MoPac After Dark at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, just over an hour away, where the contest will be Team Campbell of Coyotes taking on Team Gilbert from Oval Curling of Utah. And then we also hope you'll tune in for Championship Sunday, beginning at about 9:25 or so, where we have semifinal action. And then our championship game will be at 1:30 p.m. or so, featuring the men's final. And all that's coming up at starting at 8:30 tonight. So we do hope you'll tune in. And for now, on behalf of all of us here at MoPac, San Francisco Bay Area Curling, and thanks to our sponsors, DoubleTakeout.com, Curling.gg, and Endgame Curling, this is your host, Ryan Olson, saying so long and good curling. We hope to see you in